Darkness, a faint heartbeat, the sound of a knife sliding from its sheath. Then Dexter's voice echoes in memory. Tonight's the night. But what if it wasn't the end? What if Dexter Morgan's story didn't close in blood and silence, but instead cracked open a darker, deeper chapter? Imagine the monster you thought was gone, clawing his way back into the light. That's what makes Dexter Resurrection Season 2 more than just another revival. It could be the peak, the ultimate high point of the entire Dexter saga. When Dexter New Blood was announced, fans were divided. Some cheered, thrilled to see Michael C. Hall return to the role that had captivated them for nearly a decade. Others were cautious, haunted by the disappointment of Dexter's original finale back in 2013, where the Bay Harbor Butcher simply vanished into the storm, re-emerging as a lumberjack. That ending left many fans bitter, feeling robbed of the closure Dexter deserved. Then New Blood premiered. Set in the snowy, quiet town of Iron Lake, we found Dexter hiding under the name Jim Lindsay, living a seemingly quiet life, cut off from his murderous impulses. But as we know, darkness doesn't stay buried forever. New Blood brought back Dexter's dark passenger, reawakening the side of him that viewers both feared and loved. Fans watched as Dexter slipped, step by step, back into old habits killing again. Hiding evidence and ultimately paying the price, the most shocking part? The season ended with Dexter's own son, Harrison, pulling the trigger. The boy who, once seemed like Dexter's chance at redemption, became the instrument of his downfall. It was poetic, tragic, and for some, the perfect conclusion. Yet for others, it felt rushed. Many viewers questioned, was that truly the way to end Dexter's story, with his son killing him after just 10 episodes? That's where Dexter Resurrection comes in. The whispers of a second season carry the promise of something bigger. It's not just about bringing back Dexter, it's about expanding the story, exploring the ripples left behind by his death. Think about it. Harrison is left standing over his father's body, haunted by the weight of what he's done. He's torn between love and hate, justice and survival. He has Dexter's blood running through his veins, but he also has his mother's morality. He's a character born into conflict, and that makes him the perfect vessel for a continuation. At the same time, Dexter's presence isn't truly gone. In New Blood, we saw Deborah return not alive, but as a ghostly voice in Dexter's head, guiding him, judging him, haunting him. Season 2 of Resurrection could take that even further. Imagine Harrison being visited by Dexter himself appearing. In visions, conversations, and dark whispers, just like Harry once guided Dexter. It wouldn't just bring Michael C. Hall back, but it would also allow the story to explore the twisted father-son bond in a whole new way. This setup is why fans believe Season 2 has the potential to be peak. It's not repeating old ground, it's evolving the narrative. We've seen Dexter as the predator, the killer in control, the man wrestling with his demons. Now we could see his legacy passed on, for better or worse. The show can dive into questions it never fully explored before. Can darkness be inherited? Is it possible for someone like Harrison to escape the shadow of the Bay Harbor Butcher? Or is he destined to fall into the same cycle? And then there's the larger world to consider. In Iron Lake, Dexter's crimes are not forgotten. Angela Bishop, the police chief, knows exactly who he was. Harrison is still a runaway, carrying secrets too heavy for his age. Season 2 could weave these threads together into a tapestry of tension, small-town justice clashing with big-city myth. As the name Dexter Morgan spreads once again, but here's the key. Resurrection doesn't need to simply revive Dexter for the sake of nostalgia. It can elevate the story into something even grander. It can be about legacy, about cycles of violence, about whether monsters are born or made. That's the kind of storytelling that turns a revival into a masterpiece. Season 1 of New Blood gave us the setup. Season 2 of Resurrection could give us the payoff. And if the writers lean into the themes already bubbling under the surface, family, morality, justice, and fate, it might just become the peak of the entire Dexter franchise. Imagine this. The screen fades in on Harrison, standing in the middle of a lonely highway, blood still staining his hands from the night he killed his father. The world is silent, but inside his head there's chaos, whispers of doubt, echoes of Dexter's lessons. The ghost of the Bay Harbor butcher isn't gone, it's alive inside him. This is where Dexter Resurrection Season 2 begins, and this is why it could rise to become the peak of the entire series. The beauty of Season 2 lies in its potential for evolution. The original Dexter showed us the monster hiding beneath a man who tried to live a normal life. But now the torch has been passed. Harrison is younger, more conflicted, and far more dangerous, not because he's a seasoned killer, but because he's still discovering who he is. The tension doesn't come from watching Dexter repeat his cycle. It comes from watching Harrison build one. He's a mirror shattered into pieces, one fragment reflecting the kindness and morality of his mother, the other reflecting the cold calculation of his father. Season 2 isn't just about murder, it's about identity, and then there's Dexter himself. Just because his body is gone doesn't mean his presence is erased. Season 2 can use him in a way that's both haunting and brilliant. Remember how Harry was always in Dexter's mind, guiding him, lecturing him? Now picture that, but twisted. Dexter's ghost, not as a guiding hand, but as a shadow, tempting Harrison, mocking him, maybe even manipulating him. Michael C. Hall wouldn't need to play a living character. He could become the embodiment of Harrison's darkest fears. A father who's both mentor and curse. That's not just storytelling, that's art. But what makes this truly peak television is the theme of legacy. For years, Dexter wrestled with the question, is he a monster by choice or by nature? Now, Harrison becomes the test case. If Harrison embraces the darkness, then Dexter's curse lives on. If Harrison fights it, then maybe redemption is possible. Not for Dexter, but for his bloodline. That generational conflict is deeper than anything the original series ever explored. It's Shakespearean in its weight. The sins of the father pass to the son. The blood that binds them together becoming both a gift and a curse. Beyond the personal drama, Season 2 has the chance to widen the scope. The world now knows pieces of Dexter's truth. Angela Bishop holds knowledge that could burn through Iron Lake like wildfire. The FBI could become involved, the legend of the Bay Harbor butcher re-examined, and whispers of Harrison's connection could spread. This isn't just one boy's struggle, it's the rebirth of a myth. Imagine headlines screaming the name Dexter Morgan again. Imagine Harrison living in that shadow, every choice he makes twisting under the weight of his father's reputation. And here's where the writers can truly deliver. Resurrection has the chance to fix what the finale of New Blood left unfinished. Many fans felt that Dexter's end was rushed, that Harrison's decision came too suddenly, too cleanly. Season 2 can slow down, peeling back Harrison's mind layer by layer. It can show us his guilt, his confusion, his rage. Every step he takes forward could pull him 2 steps back into his father's darkness. That kind of psychological storytelling is what made Dexter iconic in the first place. Done right, it could surpass even the golden years of the original run, and let's not forget, Harrison is not Dexter. He's inexperienced, he's reckless. He doesn't have the meticulous control his father had. That means every mistake he makes has consequences, and those consequences will build tension like never before. If Dexter was the story of a man trying not to get caught, Harrison's story could be the tale of a boy learning just how easy it is to get caught. That danger, that fragility, makes his arc unpredictable, and unpredictability is what keeps audiences on the edge of their seats. Ultimately, Season 2 has the perfect ingredients: a conflicted protagonist in Harrison, the haunting return of Dexter in ghostly form, unfinished storylines begging for closure, and the chance to explore themes deeper than ever before: family, legacy, morality, and the thin line between justice and vengeance. It's more than just another season. It's a chance for Dexter's legacy to reach its highest point, to become not just a cult classic, but a story that cements itself as one of television's greatest explorations of darkness and human nature. If Season 1 of New Blood was the resurrection, then Season 2 is the ascension. This is where the legend of Dexter could truly peak. Asterisk, picture this. Harrison sits alone in a motel room, staring at the blood on his hands. Outside, the snow falls silently, burying the world in white. But inside his head, the storm rages on. He hears his father's voice, Dexter's calm, unsettling tone. "You did what you had to do, son." Harrison shakes his head, whispering back, did I just become you?" This is the kind of haunting question that Season 2 of Dexter Resurrection can build its entire narrative on. Unlike the original series, where Dexter balanced his double life with carefully constructed lies, Harrison has no plan, no code, no safety net. He's a teenager running from a crime far bigger than himself. That instability makes him unpredictable, and that unpredictability fuels some of the best fan theories about where the story could go next. One of the most popular theories is that Harrison won't just hear Dexter's voice, he'll see him. Just like Harry guided Dexter in the original series, Dexter could now live on in Harrison's mind, not as a steady compass, but as a fractured ghost. Sometimes supportive, sometimes manipulative, sometimes mocking. Fans imagine Michael C. Hall returning, not in flashbacks, but as a constant presence and unsettling mentor urging Harrison to embrace his true nature. This wouldn't just keep Dexter alive, it would make him more terrifying than ever. Another theory suggests that Harrison will adopt a new version of the code, but unlike Dexter, who targeted killers, Harrison might expand his scope. Imagine a boy who justifies violence not only against murderers, but against anyone he deems harmful: abusers, liars, corrupt officials. That moral gray area could spiral into chaos. Is Harrison a hero cleaning up the world? Or is he becoming a monster with no boundaries? The audience wouldn't know until the very end, and that tension is what keeps people glued to the screen. Then there's the question of Angela Bishop. At the end of New Blood, she let Harrison go, but that doesn't mean she's finished with him. She knows the truth about Dexter. She knows the destruction he caused. Some fans believe she pursues Harrison, torn between protecting him as a child and punishing him as an accomplice. Their cat-and-mouse game could become the central conflict of the season, echoing but not repeating the classic detective hunting Dexter formula. This time it's personal. And what about the FBI? The Bay Harbor Butcher case was never fully closed. With Dexter's death, new evidence could surface. Old files could be reopened. Harrison, carrying the Morgan name, might find himself hunted not just by one determined cop, but by the entire system. Fan theories even suggest we could see cameos from familiar faces, survivors of Dexter's past, investigators who were never satisfied with how the case ended, or even characters who believe Dexter was framed and Harrison is innocent. But perhaps the most chilling theory is this: Harrison doesn't run from his father's legacy, he embraces it. Season 2 could show him deliberately becoming the new Bay Harbor Butcher. Instead of hiding from the world, he could step into it, claiming the identity, wearing the shadow like armor. Imagine the headlines: Butcher returns. Imagine the whispers in the streets: he's back. Only this time, it isn't Dexter Morgan, it's his son. That idea alone has fans buzzing with both fear and excitement. What makes all these possibilities powerful is that they don't erase the past, they build on it. Season 2 wouldn't need to undo New Blood's finale. Instead, it could transform it. Harrison killing his father wasn't an ending, it was an initiation. A twisted rite of passage that pushes him into a destiny he doesn't fully understand. Every step forward is a step deeper into darkness, and every theory fans spin only makes the story richer. Think about the emotional stakes. Harrison isn't just fighting criminals, he's fighting himself. He's fighting the shadow of a father he both loved and hated. He's fighting the possibility that no matter how hard he tries, he will always be his father's son. That kind of storytelling is more than entertainment, it's myth, it's tragedy. It's the kind of narrative that elevates a show from good to legendary. Season 2 of Dexter Resurrection has the chance to be unpredictable, daring, and unforgettable. By weaving Harrison's fragile humanity with the ghost of Dexter's legacy, by testing the boundaries of morality and fate, it could deliver the kind of television that people talk about for decades. And maybe, just maybe, that's what resurrection truly means. Not Dexter returning to life, but his darkness resurrecting in the next generation. *, the snow is still falling. Harrison walks down that empty highway, his breath sharp against the cold air. In his eyes, you don't see victory, you see the weight of a curse. Behind him, the ghost of Dexter follows, silent, watching, waiting. This is not just the end of a chapter. This is the beginning of something darker, sharper, and far more dangerous. This is why Dexter Resurrection Season 2 could be the moment the entire franchise reaches its peak, because here's the truth. The audience doesn't just want more Dexter, they want more meaning. They want a story that doesn't settle for repeating old tricks. And Resurrection has the perfect chance to do exactly that. It can deliver a tale of transformation where the focus shifts from survival to legacy, from one man's struggle to an entire bloodline's curse. That is where the hype lies, not in Dexter's return to the screen, but in the birth of a new legend. Picture the promotion alone. Posters drenched in blood-red shadows, with Harrison's face half-lit, half-hidden, and the tagline, "The Butcher is never truly gone." Trailers that tease Dexter's voice whispering over Harrison's choices. Clips that leave fans debating, is Harrison a victim, or is he becoming a monster? The hype would be unstoppable, feeding on years of fan frustration, curiosity, and loyalty. And when the first episode drops, that opening moment Harrison hearing his father's voice for the first time will ignite the fandom in a way no revival ever has. But hype isn't just about advertising. It's about storytelling that makes every scene unforgettable. Imagine the season unfolding like this. Harrison tries to live a normal life, but everywhere he goes, reminders of his father creep in. Newspaper headlines about the Bay Harbor Butcher, people whispering about Iron Lake, Angela Bishop closing in, and then the moment comes, his first kill. Not as clean, not as controlled, but raw and emotional. A moment where the audience holds its breath, wondering if Harrison has crossed the point of no return. That scene alone could become iconic, as chilling as Dexter's very first words. "Tonight's the night." And what about the climax? Fans theorize Season 2 could build toward inside Harrison's mind, where Dexter's ghost tempts him to fully embrace the darkness. Imagine a final showdown, not with the police, not with another killer, but with himself. Harrison standing in front of a mirror, his reflection splitting between who he wants to be and who he's destined to become. That kind of ending doesn't just shock viewers, it burns itself into television history. This is where the payoff lies. The audience has already lived through Dexter's rise and fall. They've seen him evade justice, struggle with love, and wrestle with morality. But Harrison's journey is something fresh, something unexplored. It's not about repeating the past. It's about redefining it. If Season 2 leans into that promise, it could create a season that doesn't just satisfy fans, but silences critics, rewriting the narrative of a franchise once scarred by disappointment. And here's the most powerful thought. What if Harrison surpasses Dexter? What if the boy who killed his father becomes the man who outdoes him? Smarter, colder, more dangerous. What if the legacy of the Bay Harbor Butcher isn't a shadow, but a foundation one that Harrison builds into something even more terrifying? That's not just hype. That's destiny. As the season closes, the final scene could leave audiences with chills. Harrison walking into the night, Dexter's voice echoing behind him, not as a warning but as applause. "That's my son." Fade to black, silence. And then the realization hits, the story of Dexter Morgan never ended. It only evolved. That is the power of Dexter Resurrection Season 2. The hype isn't empty. The payoff isn't shallow. It's the promise of closure, the thrill of rebirth, and the terror of seeing a monster's shadow grow even larger than the monster himself. If done right, it won't just be good television. It will be peak